Truth and knowledge, transition offering kinetics. Get with me. Anything I say from here on is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken seriously. For entertainment purposes only. So I spoke before about communications. Communication is very important to understand exactly the factors of what it means to communicate. Now, when we have our plight, our issues being brought up to the UN without no representation because you don't have stateship. Why you don't have stateship is because it was taken from you. So I guess the American position would have been yours if you weren't attacked by countries that just wanted your resources and your land and your identity. So because of that, you have no place in the UN to speak your piece about, at least getting a little bit of chump change for the genocide that you experienced. So in communications, when you're speaking, the fact that you don't have stateship and you don't have a voice anyway, you can't communicate anyway the truth, which is, as far as wordism, you use their words, which comes from their psychological operations, their demonic reference to maintaining control over populations of quantum biological processors that have sovereignty. But no, they want to use their programs through communications that they understand comes from the icons of communication in our reference, which is letters and numbers. So they use the words, the wordism, the language, the lies of language to convince you that you're a part of something that you're not, or you're not a part of something that you are. I spoke about it before. But anyway, when you use their narratives, when you use their narratives to speak your truth, it becomes absolute false and a virtual, unrealistic position for you to have to swim through, which has no end, like an infinity pool. So when you claim their narrative of slavery as something that you went through, you lose in the very beginning. Just like in their form of democracy, when you vote for policy, you vote for people, yes, and that's the reason why the policy that you really want does not get through, because the people are the filter, and that's how they basically designed it. So the house always wins. Same thing for the words that come from the lies of language here that they give you to, speak your piece through. Unfortunately, you don't know what you're saying. So slavery is not what you experienced in the sense of the institution. That is a collective experience. People have been experiencing some sort of servitude from another person for a long, long, long time, thousands of years. So you fall right into that same category, therefore reducing, the credibility of your claim. So what you must do is actually know how to communicate, meaning understand the truth and know how to speak it, meaning because you have no voice at the UN for their, considerations of your plight, because you have no state to represent yourself, because it has been taken, number one. There's someone else there as your straw man speaking for you, not speaking for you, number two. So when you acknowledge the military evil demonic campaign to take your land, take your sovereignty, your identity, and your resources away from you, the 7 countries that came and took all those things from you, therefore it constituting a war. That's a war, whether it's been documented as that being a war and for the reasons and for what it was, or it basically, you just didn't know about it. It doesn't matter. The fact is that's what it was. So once you acknowledge those things, then you get to acknowledge the crimes against humanity. You get to acknowledge not the slavery, but the punishment and the torture and the tyranny and the degradation from being a prisoner of war, being prisoners of war, and experiencing genocide at the same time, and humiliation. That's what you have to get claimed for, not slavery, not something that they made up. That way they can reduce the impact of what it had on your life. So please, people, if there's any men out there that really actually have divine masculine information, I'm not talking about a physicality. That has nothing to do with masculinity. That divine masculine information that understands discernment, and self-preservation. You will definitely get this and understand what I'm saying and toe the line.